everyone, I'm Dr. Mel from City Skin Clinic. Welcome back to our channel. Today I thought we'd have a chat about skin supplements or beauty supplements that actually work, and whether some of the most common supplements that are out there are worth taking and how you should take them. First of all, before we get started, if you're new to this channel, welcome. Please don't forget to subscribe, and if you're a returning visitor, welcome back and thank you so much for all your support. So I thought I'd do today's topic because, to be honest, around this time of year there's always a lot in terms of beauty magazines and the media about beauty supplements, and they're often linked to fitness goals and healthcare goals because it's the new year and everyone's kind of working on their resolutions. And I think whilst that's really good to kind of think about these things, and definitely your health is going to reflect on the quality and beauty of your skin and your hair and your nails, there are a lot of products out there that, to be honest, aren't very effective or don't work at all, and it's really important to sort of have a think about what these are. So the point of this video is just to tell you, based on scientific evidence, what we know does work and whether it's worth taking it or not. So to really get in there, I'm going to mention the most commonly used supplements, and I'll let you know my thoughts on them. So the first one is probably the one that I actually really love the most, and it's biotin. Also known as vitamin B7. So biotin, we know that it helps to develop keratin, which is what's needed for the hair. Keratin's found in the skin, and keratin's also needed to make nails nice and hard. So biotin definitely helps with nail growth. It definitely helps with improving the skin quality, and it can help with sort of reducing the signs of aging or preventing them, and it can definitely help with getting thicker hair and helping your hair grow. Obviously, all of that has to be taken with a pinch of salt. So if you use a biotin tablet, it's not going to be an overnight improvement. But that being said, it's one of the things that I think are worth taking if you're looking to have a supplement that will help with beauty. And with regards to biotin, the one thing I will say is you can just go to your health store, to your local pharmacy, and just pick up any brand. Even like the pharmacy itself might have, if it's a big chain like Boots or whatever, they may have their own brand. That is good enough. You don't need the fancy brand, the one that labels itself just for this purpose. Any biotin is going to be good enough. With vitamins and supplements, just look at the recommended daily allowance at the back of that, and it will tell you whether there's enough of that for you. So biotin's definitely up there on my list. I think it's worth taking. The evidence in terms of improvements, there is some. We know biotin's important. It's not hugely strong for supplements, but there are reports that it's good, and so it's worth taking. One thing to be aware of: if you have any medical problems, if you're taking medications, if you're someone who needs to get blood tests to monitor their condition, discuss with your doctor before taking biotin or any other supplements, because they can affect your blood results and they can sometimes interfere with medication. So that's a big caveat and to think about. So biotin I'm going to put in if you're looking for a supplement for beauty, I'm going to put it in the supplements that I think are worth taking. Next one is collagen, and actually I've already done a video about collagen, and I'll put a link to that at the end of this video and in the comments below. Collagen, we know it's important, we know it's crucial in the basement membrane for the skin. We do know that loss of collagen and elastin over time do lead to volume loss and skin aging and wrinkles and so on. So collagen, without a doubt, is a really crucial ingredient. What we don't know is whether supplements are worth taking. And so collagen supplements, you can find them as powders, you can find them as tablets almost everywhere. There are some reports that certain supplements do work. There are hydrolyzed collagens that can work, but to be honest, when you take collagen, although it will be used up by the body decides where to put the collagen. So the collagen supplements, it may be distributed towards kind of repair of your knee joint. It can be used anywhere in your body, so there's less control of that. So collagen supplements, I'd say if you're really, really keen and you're doing everything else in terms of skincare, protecting your skin from the sun and aging, you're eating a healthy diet and you want to add something to it, I would add biotin first, but if you really want to add something else, you can add collagen as a supplement, but don't just use it and expect everything to improve. If you are someone who is looking to increase their collagen, but you don't really want to supplement, equally good is just to make sure that you have a really good balanced diet and a healthy diet. And collagen is naturally, it's, to be honest, found in meat. So that's kind of the big source. But if you are a vegetarian or vegan, there are collagen supplements that you can take to increase that. And there are some foods that have a bit, but that's kind of the main place we find collagen is in meat and in fish. The next one, hyaluronic acid. You guys know that I'm a huge fan of hyaluronic acid. We use dermal fillers that are made from hyaluronic acid in the clinic. We use Profilo, which is also hyaluronic acid based and stimulates more collagen and elastin production. But in terms of hyaluronic acid and eating it, we know that hyaluronic acid, like collagen, is super, super important for skin health and skin youthfulness. But what's not clear is whether supplements actually make their way to the skin. We do know that there are some groups, for example in Japan, there's a village of people, and I put a link to an article that we have on this, who over time were found to have really reduced skin aging, really good hair. In that group, they tended to eat a vegetable that was high in hyaluronic acid, and so that kind of observational study hypothesizes that that's sort of what helped. They obviously also had a healthy diet and lifestyle, but that's something that stood out. So hyaluronic acid does help, but it's not so clear whether supplements and diets can affect the amount of hyaluronic acid that you have. So like collagen, I would say having a really healthy diet that's rich in collagen and hyaluronic acid is probably the better way to go. But if you're really looking for a supplement, then there are a lot of powders and supplements that combine collagen and hyaluronic acid together, and you could go down that route if that's what you really wanted. The other thing that's really important to mention with collagen and hyaluronic acid is beyond supplements, you need to do things that reduce the rate of your skin and your body breaking down collagen and hyaluronic acid. And two of the biggest things that do that are sun damage, so you can use SPF and that will stop that. And the other one is actually smoking. So again, start with your diet and your lifestyle before you think about supplements. And then we get to sort of things that I think are maybe, let's be honest, I'm not sure are worthwhile. So starting with ceramides, these are in the fatty lipid layer of the skin. They're absolutely essential for the skin to stay plump, to function, for the skin cells. There are some topical creams that have ceramides that actually do help kind of with skin moisture. Ceramides are necessary for the skin's protective membrane. It stops it from drying out, from being irritated. Whilst I'm fine with people using creams that have ceramides in them purely because of the emolliating and the comfortable feel on the skin, I honestly don't really think there's much value in taking ceramides as a supplement. I think if you have a healthy diet, a balanced diet, you're going to be fine. I think it's, to be honest, a waste of money. I'm going to put antioxidants in that category as well. I think the best kind of form of having antioxidants is actually eating fresh fruit, fresh vegetables. Vegetables have plenty of antioxidants. Even things like carrots have a high amount of antioxidants. So you know, you don't need to go for super fancy foods like goji berries unless you really love them, but really, you know, things like broccoli, these are all high in nutrition and in antioxidants. So you're better off doing that and then buying supplements at great cost. There's also another group that I would say that are important, but you're much, much better off getting them through your diet, and it's probiotics. So we know that increasingly that the gut microbiome, which is this fancy name that you give to the culture of bacteria that live in all of our guts and that help us with digestion, they're really essential for a lot of functions, including immunity, and increasingly skin health is one of these. The idea with that microbiome for kind of skin effects is to try and encourage, promote more of the healthy gut bacteria that help you with skin, that help you stay healthy. Now, this industry has grown around this. There's been kind of a boom of lots of products, both prebiotics and probiotics. So prebiotics will be supplements that have the sort of healthier bacteria that you're supposed to take as a tablet, and they help you along. Or they can be found in specialist yogurts and foods and things like that. And probiotics are foods that help promote the growth of these bacteria. I'm going to say with prebiotics, to be honest, there's really no evidence that these work. There's no evidence that even taking them, that they survive the acid in your stomach to get to the gut where they're supposed to live and work, so to speak. So I'm going to say no to that. One thing you can do if you really want to improve the healthy balance of bacteria in your gut, you can do things like eat more live yogurt. That can help with the balance of that bacteria. But anything beyond that is using a really expensive supplement that probably won't do much in terms of work. Probiotics, on the other hand, are foods and ingredients that you do that help improve the health of the bacteria and encourage more of the healthy bacteria. These I'm much more positive about. So we know soluble fiber is hugely important. It's important for us because it also helps us with things like weight loss. It helps with heart health. And it helps with reducing the risk of bowel cancer and things like that. And it happens to also help balance the bacteria, healthy bacteria in your gut. But what I will say is don't buy a supplement, pills, or any special juice with that. What you can do is incorporate really basic things into your diet. So one is eat more whole grain things, so more whole grain bread, whole grain pasta, make sure it's all wholemeal. That's really important. Oats are a huge source of fiber, and that's a really good way to also help maintain your gut health, and they're also good for keeping down cholesterol and reducing your blood pressure. And then flax seeds. I love flax seeds. They are a huge source of soluble fiber. They're incredibly good for the gut, kind of balancing that good bacteria and promoting it. And they're just incredible, and you can easily sprinkle them onto cereal. You can sprinkle them in yogurt. You can add them, I use them to bake banana bread and add them into that, so you can incorporate them into so many things. And they're so easy, and this is a much more delicious and inexpensive way to incorporate some really important ingredients into your diet that will help for sure with your skin and your overall health. And finally, fatty acids, particularly omega-3, they're in style a lot more now, and again, lots of fancy supplements that have them in them. Honestly, if you are eating oily fish, that is going to give you more than enough of your omega-3s. If you don't really eat fish for any reason, you can go the old-fashioned route and just use the cod liver oil capsules, or if you're really hardcore, the oil itself. These are much cheaper than the fancy supplements out there, and they will give you the omega-3 and the essential fatty acids. And if you're a vegetarian or a vegan, there are products, specialist supplements out there. Again, I would start by going to your health store, if in the UK something like Holland and Barrett, and just see what the no-nonsense supplements there are. Because again, with all of these things, if you're going to take a supplement or you're going to do anything, the most important thing is consistency. Nothing works overnight or even in a few weeks. So you are using it and you're incorporating it into a healthy lifestyle that includes a healthy diet that's varied. If you don't do that, you end up sort of overpaying for something that you use once or twice, you give up on. So start by getting the most basic form of these supplements if you want to go the supplement route, but I really recommend, as I mentioned, going down the incorporating them as part of your diet instead. Anyway, so I hope that helps. To recap, most supplements are not that useful. If you're really going to go after one or two, I definitely recommend biotin. I recommend adding probiotics to your diet for sure. And if you really want, you can use a bit of collagen with hyaluronic acid, especially if you don't eat much meat or fish. Otherwise, everything else you can get through eating a good healthy diet that has plenty of fruit and vegetable in it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you have any questions or if there's anything else you want me to add to it. If you have anything that you'd like to see videos on, just leave a comment below as well. Don't forget, if you haven't already done so, to subscribe our channel, and please give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Until next time, bye bye.